Well, as you know, summer is quickly approaching. The school year is almost over, and we are recognizing our graduates at 11 o'clock. Memorial Day is next weekend, and so summer's almost here. And if we're being honest, summer is not generally the high water mark season for church financial giving. And so with that in mind, we wanted to have a conversation this morning about what that means, what that looks like for us now, in the spirit of transparency, but also in the spirit of stewardship. So we've invited Barbara Gass, who is the vice chair of our finance committee, to come and help us think about where we are currently financially and what that means and some of what that looks like. So thank you for being here, Barbara.
Of course.
So can you give us a picture of where we are right now financially, especially as compared to years past?
Sure, of course. So right now we are 22% behind budget in dollar amounts. That's $326,000. Comparatively last year, at this time, we were only 13% behind budget, which was $203,000.
Okay. So what does that mean practically for us and for the church?
Yeah, so right now we're not holding back any ministry or missions, which is good news, but it does mean that we will have a steeper hill to climb for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, thank you. And any ideas about why that's the case at this point of the year, why we're behind this year in particular?
Sure. So obviously there are fluctuations just based on member circumstances, which we account for, but there are two things that could contribute to this. The first is that there was a tax change that went into effect last year, and that just decreased the incentives for charitable giving. Yeah. And the second, which is probably more pertinent to Wilshire members, is as the Finance Committee, we've seen a slight decrease in just overall household giving, which just has a cumulative effect. So if I or you give just a little bit less, we see the ripple effect across our congregation.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are things happening at the kind of a national level that may be at play, but also just a sense of everybody can do a little bit more, and then we'll all catch up
Definitely.
To get there. So I guess the good question to ask is, why does all this matter?
Yeah, great question. So as a church, we've obviously decided that there are things that we think are important to fund and empower with our dollars. And the reality is that if we don't get to what we would like to in giving, we can't do all of those things. And then it's also just a good time to step back and remember that all of the gifts and resources we've been given are from God, and that the way we use our money and our resources is really a testament to how we serve and worship Him.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. With graduates today, recognizing them, thinking about the ministries that supported them along the way and how our giving supports those ministries and the mission stuff we do, like going to El Paso and to the border, all of that is impacted and supported by these givings and by our offering. Well, thank you. Anything else that you would want to say to us, maybe as encouragement or just a final word about giving this time of year?
Yeah, so on a positive note, in April, we actually did exceed what we expected for revenue, which is great. Good. So giving upticked in April. So just a reminder I'm hopeful that we can keep that up in the summer months and continue that trend for the rest of the year.
Great. Well, I think that's a good encouraging word, that leaving April on an upward trend, and maybe we can go into the summer on an upward trend rather than down. But just a reminder to everyone that as we're away, because we all are during the summer, that your money doesn't have to be away. Also, that there are ways to give online on a recurring basis. Obviously, there are ways to give while you're here. And we know that giving is more than financial, but the financial piece is really important to what we do and to the life of the ministry here. So just a good encouraging word that we all can do our part to make a big difference, to make the ministry happen here at Wilshire. Well, thank you, Barbara, for being here this morning, and thank all of you for the ways you give to the life of this church.